U.S. to put missile defenses to the test. It used to be the more Kim Jong Un ran his mouth about raining nuclear Armageddon down on the U.S. and her allies, the dumber he looked. Except now, Washington is taking the plump dictator seriously, and more specifically, the Pentagon is testing U.S. defenses for a North Korean attack. In May 2017, the military will run 2 weapon systems through a simulated North Korean missile launch against the U.S. mainland. The first test will see a U.S. Navy vessel launch an upgraded Standard missile somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. This baby comes equipped with an enhanced warhead and booster, basically meaning it can travel much farther than previous models. The idea here is to see if this new missile can shoot down a North Korean missile soon after deployment. The second test, reportedly scheduled for late May, is arguably much more important. This will see ground-based interceptor missiles fired into the Pacific from bases in California and Alaska. Their mission? Take out an incoming North Korean ICBM before it reaches the U.S. The problem with this system is that it's only been half successful in past tests. Sound concerning? The Pentagon seems to think so. In a recent report, they said they had limited defense capability against simple missile threats from Pyongyang and Iran. In other words, if the Ayatollah, Mr. Un, or another supervillain decides to go nuclear, there's a slight chance part of the U.S. could be toast. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Did you know the U.S. spends more than $500 billion annually on its military? Here's some of that gear those tax dollars buy. U.S. drops the mother of all bombs on ISIS. Kaboom! The U.S. Air Force dropped the largest non-nuclear bomb ever used in combat on Afghanistan yesterday. Known to the military as the mother of all bombs, the 22,000-pound GBU-43 has an explosive yield equivalent to more than 11 tons of TNT. The bomb detonates before it reaches the ground, creating a huge blast radius. In addition to the physical damage, the sheer scale of the bomb's impact also inflicts terrible psychological impact on the enemy. This footage shows the Air Force testing the bomb in 2003. The target yesterday was the Islamic State in Khorasan, also known as ISIS-K. ISIS's Afghan affiliate has been using IEDs, bunkers, and tunnels to dig in following recent heavy losses. One witness on the ground said the blast was the biggest he had ever heard and targeted an area exclusively occupied by ISIS fighters. However, an Afghan MP said locals told him a teacher and his young son died in the blast. A U.S. Special Forces soldier was killed last week fighting ISIS-K in Afghanistan. The U.S. military estimates there are between 600 and 800 ISIS-K fighters in the country. The military said the bombing was unrelated to the soldier's death and added it took every precaution to avoid civilian casualties. President Trump confirmed he had authorized the military to carry out the bombing. He also denied that the attack was intended to send a message to North Korea amid heightened tensions with Kim Jong Un's hermit state. The U.S. has a robot warship that can hunt enemy submarines. The Department of Defense is reportedly home to many a robotic contraption these days, but they've all got nothing on this bad boy. The Sea Hunter is an autonomous drone designed primarily to track enemy submarines that are equipped with quiet electric diesel engines. It is currently being tested by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Unveiled in April 2016, the 40-meter vessel can travel at 31 miles per hour. It has no armaments. Its design resembles a Polynesian outrigger canoe. This helps it navigate the ocean and handle challenging 6-meter-high waves. Advanced software and hardware allow it to operate autonomously around other vessels and remain at sea for months at a time. The testing period is set to finish in 2018. If it's successful, it will be handed over to the U.S. Navy. U.S. Army develops anti-suicide drone system. The U.S. military is developing a system that can counter small, explosive-laden autonomous drones, which the Pentagon believes will pose a danger to U.S. troops in future combat zones. The current method of sighting and following a drone in flight is by tracking the radio frequencies between the drone and its operator. Suicide drones may be pre-programmed with coordinates of the targets so that they can navigate without radio control. This makes them more difficult to track using existing methods. The Mobile Force Protection Program is an integrated prototype system that can detect pre-programmed drones up to 200 pounds. Shotguns, sniper rifles, water cannons, mini rockets, and lasers are all being considered as ways of eliminating enemy drones. The system is designed to protect mobile assets, such as convoys carrying important cargo. These assets are more complicated to protect than stationary targets. The system has a three-step engagement sequence. After the scene and decide phases, the system would then take out the enemy drone. The same system could also be adapted for maritime operations, such as small naval riverine crafts. Phase 1 of the project is set to begin in May and is expected to last about 12 months. The third and final phase of the project will focus on countering a large raid of autonomous drones. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. U.S. begins deployment of THAAD missile system in South Korea. The U.S. has begun shipping the THAAD anti-missile system to South Korea amid fierce opposition from China. THAAD stands for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. It consists of a truck-mounted launcher, a transportable radar system and control, as well as communication centers. The system is designed to shoot down short, medium, and intermediate-range ballistic missiles. When the radar system detects an incoming missile, the target is identified and engaged before an interceptor is fired from the launcher. The interceptor destroys the missile by kinetic energy, which means it is destroyed with body-to-body impact during the terminal phase. Military experts argue that China's anger over the deployment is mainly due to the radar capabilities of the THAAD system, as they could be used to spy on Chinese missile systems.